guys, happy Friday. It's another week. We're in week 11. We're our third week into the second quarter, so wow, I didn't think about that. Hopefully you guys are finished with one book already, if not, getting close to finishing. If you're not, definitely pick up your pace because we want to make sure we get those books finished. So I have 4 books I'm going to share with you today for our first Read Friday. So remember, if you're new to our team, every Friday I'm going to share a bunch of book talks. You're supposed to make a list in your notebook of books that you want to read. So if any of these pique your interest, write them down and you can read them again in the future. So the first book, this is called The Marrow Thieves, and this is something that I am going to be reading in the near future because I have heard such great things about it. And it says, just when you think you have nothing left to lose, they come for your dreams. In a world nearly destroyed by global warming. So this is a dystopian book. So kind of like, think like Hunger Games, think of Divergent, right? Where it's kind of in the future, like society's kind of broken down. It says the indigenous people of North America are being hunted for their bone marrow, which carries the key to recovering something the rest of the population has lost, the ability to dream. Frenchie and his companions struggling to survive don't know yet that one of them holds the secret to defeating the Marrow Thieves. So I'm just going to read the first page. It says, Frenchie's coming to story. Mitch was smiling so big his back teeth shone in the soft light of the solar-powered lamp we'd scavenged from someone's shed. Check it out. He held a bag of Doritos between us. A big bag, too. Holy Mitch! Where'd you get that? I touched the air-pressurized bag to confirm it was real. My dirty fingers skittered across the shiny surface like skates. It was real. My mouth filled with spit and a rotten hole in one of my molars yelled its displeasure. In the last house back there, hidden on top of the cupboard like Ma used to do when she didn't want us getting into stuff. Mom had only been gone a few months, so talking about her still stung. My brother popped the bag to cover our hurt, and like cheese-scented fireworks, that loud release of air and processed dust cheered us up. We were in a treehouse somewhere on the outer rim of a small city that had long been closed down like a forgotten convenience store. We were a few hours out from southern metropolitan city, which used to be Toronto, back when there were still so many cities, they each had a unique name instead of a direction. West City, Northeast, Metropolis, Southern Township. It was a great treehouse. Some lucky kid must have had a contractor for a father. It was easily 2 stories up from the unmown lawn, and it had a gabled roof with real shingles. We've been there for 3 days now, skipping school, hiding out. Before he left with the council and we never saw him again, Dad had taught us that the best way to hide is to keep moving. But this spring had been damp. It had rained off and on for over a week, and we couldn't resist the dry comfort of the one-room tree house with built-in benches. Besides, we reasoned, it was up high like a sniper hole, so we could see if anyone was coming for us. So definitely check out The Marrow Thieves. It's a #1 national bestseller, so it's got to be good. Scythe. I haven't read this one. This is a series. I've heard really good things about it. A lot of people who like fantasy like this. It says on the back, thou shalt kill. A world with no hunger, no disease, no war, no misery. Humanity has conquered all those things and has even conquered death. Now scythes are the only ones who can end life, and they are commanded to do so in order to keep the size of the population under control. Citra and Rowan are chosen to apprentice to a scythe, a role that neither wants. These teens must master the art of taking life, knowing that the consequence of failure can mean losing their own. They learn living in a perfect world comes with only a heavy price. And I'm going to read you the first page. It says, Part 1, Robe and Ring. Oh, I like this. It's got like a little thing in there. We must by law keep a record of the innocents we kill. And as I see it, they're all innocents, even the guilty. Everyone is guilty of something, and everyone still harbors a memory of childhood innocence, no matter how many layers of life wrap around it. Humanity is innocent, humanity is guilty, and both states are undeniably true. We must by law keep a record. It begins on day 1 of apprenticeship, but we do not officially call it killing. It's not socially or morally correct to call it such. It is, and has always been, gleaning, aimed for the way the poor would trail behind farmers in ancient times, taking the stray stalks of grain left behind. It was the earliest form of charity. A scythe's work is the same. Every child is told from the day he or she is old enough to understand that the scythes provide a crucial service for society. Ours is the closest thing to a sacred mission the modern world knows. Perhaps that is why we must, by law, keep a record, a public journal, testifying to those who will never die and those who are yet to be burned, as to why we human beings do the things we do. We are instructed to write down not just our deeds, but our feelings, because it must be known that we do have feelings. Remorse, regret, sorrow too great to bear. Because if we didn't feel those things, what monsters would we be? All the Bright Places. This is probably one of my top 3 favorite books ever. I actually have like the artwork in my classroom. This is a mature book. It does talk about suicide and depression, so definitely make sure your parents are okay with you reading it. It actually came out on Netflix as a movie. I think the book's better, but I love it. And it says Theodore Finch is fascinated by death. Every day he thinks of ways he might die, but every day he also searches for and manages to find something to keep him here and alive and awake. And I love it when you meet Finch. He's such a kind of like the outcast character. He has sticky notes all over lining his room and his wall of just things that he wants to live for. Violet Markey lives for the future, counting the days until graduation when she can escape her small Indiana town and her aching grief in the wake of her sister's death. So her sister died, and so it's caused her to be really depressed. So when they both meet on the ledge of a bell tower at school, 6 stories above the ground, it's unclear of who saves whom, because they're both kind of up there because they're both a little suicidal. And if it's only with Finch that Violet forgets to count away the days and starts to actually live them. But as Violet's world grows, Finch begins to shrink. This is a great book to learn about mental health and to see what it's like to see people who are actually like depressed and have those tendencies. Great book, very heart-wrenching. I love this book. It's such a good romance novel, but it's not all like lovey. And then my last one is called March. It is a graphic novel. It is a series that I have, but it's all about civil rights. I know a lot of you are interested in like Black Lives Matter, a lot of the civil rights stuff that's going on right now. And I just love this because it is a series all about it. And it talks about Congressman John Lewis. He was an American icon. He was a key figure in our civil rights movement. His commitment to justice and nonviolence has taken him from an Alabama sharecropper's farm to the halls of Congress, from a segregated schoolroom to the 1963 March on Washington. And so it's all about his journey and all about like how civil rights movement kind of started. So definitely, if you're into graphic novels, the civil rights movement, any of that stuff, definitely check out March book 1. So happy reading, guys. Find something that you'd love to read and just get lost in a book today. And as always, happy reading.